Hello dear students, and welcome again to this new series of English lessons designed for the fourth year secondary education. Today's lesson will be about still dealing with tourism and traveling, and it will be about art shows. Okay, so let's begin then. I'll start with a quotation said by a famous English writer, Samuel Johnson, an 18th century writer, and he said at that time, "If a man is tired of London, he is tired of life, for there is in London all that life can afford." Okay, can you understand this quotation? Not clear? Okay, I'll try to help you. If you look at the expression tired of life, it means you are fed up. To be tired of something means to be fed up, and you get fed up when there is nothing to do, so you get bored. But in London, it's not the case, as it is full of entertainment. There are lots of places where you can go to enjoy yourself. So this is Samuel Johnson, as I told you. So let's see how can you entertain yourself once you are in London. Okay? Look at that picture. What does it show? That's it. Yes, a museum. So visiting a museum is one of the activities you can do, and you know, London is full of museums. Another picture, look at this crowd of people. Where are they standing? Yes, in front of a cinema. So another activity to entertain yourself is going to the cinema. Again, one more picture. Look at that. What is it? Is it a party? No, it's a show. And it's a dance show. You can also go to a show. Going to a show. Yes, more and more you can do things in London. Look at this one. Yes, where are they? You guessed? That's right. So they are at a gallery, looking at an exhibition of pictures and paintings. So this is visiting an art gallery. And what about this one? That's it, a theater. Going to a theater. Now, this is something different. Look at the couple. The husband is taking photos, and the wife is reading. It can be a city map, looking for some place to go. So this is sightseeing. To sightsee is when you visit places. It comes from the verb to see, and sight means the important places in a city. So we say to go sightseeing. Now, if we put all these activities together into one category, how would you call them? Okay, it's called art shows. Art activities, show activities. So this is called art shows. Can you give me some examples of art shows? Concerts, good. Plays, and where can you see plays? At a theater, that's it. Sculptures, also, in museums. Films, paintings, and poetry contest. Contest means a competition. Sometimes a group of poets come together to recite their poems, so they participate in a contest. An exhibition, a display of things, work of arts, can be paintings or sculptures or shows, any exhibition, anything you show. Also music festivals. Okay? Now, which type of art shows do you like best? From these things we have just seen, going to the cinema, going to a theater, visiting an art gallery, which one do you like best? So, we are going to express your preference. Use these expressions and verbs to express your preference. Do you know any expression to show your preference, your likes and dislikes? Have a look at these expressions and verbs. Would rather than, and to be interested in. Another one, a verb, to prefer. Be careful with this verb. We will see later how we use it. To be fond of something or of doing something. And to be keen on. So as you can see, these are expressions we use to show our preference, our likes. So have a look at these examples now. I going to the cinema, to visiting a museum. The key word here is to. You see it? It's in a red circle to show you what kind of expression or verb you are going to use. So, going to the cinema, to visiting a museum. You are going to choose which one you prefer. So I said it. I prefer going to the cinema, to visiting a museum. Notice with the verb to prefer, when you prefer something, you say I prefer something to something else, or prefer doing something to doing another thing. Now, another example is the following, as you can read. I go to the cinema, then visit a museum. Here, this time we have than, not to, so it's a different structure, as you can see. So what do you say? Go to the cinema, visit a museum. Then, so we say, I'd rather go to the cinema than visit a museum. Clear? Let's continue. Another example. It's a longer one. The cinema, and I am mostly in science fiction films. That's my preference. I prefer science fiction films when I go to the cinema. So what are you going to say here? Use another expression from the list above. You have I am fond of. To be fond of something, I am fond of the cinema, and I am mostly in. I am interested. Good. I am mostly interested in science fiction films. Okay? Now, another example. As you can see now, it's coming. I on visiting art galleries. As you say here in the first examples, prefer the cinema to the museums, rather go to the cinema than visit the museum. So, visiting art galleries, are you keen on that? Surely not. So, on is a key word. I am not keen on art galleries. Okay? So, most teenagers like you do prefer the cinema, not the art galleries. So, let's remember the expressions we have just seen. To be interested in doing something, to be fond of something, and to be keen on something, to prefer something to something else, or as you can see, the verb doing is between brackets, which is optional. You can say, I prefer doing something to doing something else, or just I prefer something to something else. And another expression is, I'd rather do something than do something else. And notice that the verb do is in the infinitive without to. We call it bare infinitive. We don't say, for example, I'd rather do something than doing something, or than to do something. I'd rather do something than do something else. Okay? So these are the expressions that you have to keep in mind when you deal with preference and likes and dislikes. Let's recapitulate. To be interested in doing something, to be fond of something, to be keen on something, to prefer something to something else, and would rather do something than do something else. If I ask you, which do you prefer, doing your homework or going out with friends? What would you say? Say, for example, I'd rather go out with friends than do my homework. Okay, let's continue now. Now, let's have a look at some vocabulary words we have just seen at the beginning of this lesson, words related to art shows. Here you have the list of words: show, exhibition, gallery, museum, and theatre. These are definitions for you, and you have to match definition with the words from the list. 4 definitions, I presume. Yes, that's it. So let's read together. A building or a room where you can go to look at paintings, sculptures, etc. So remember, from the beginning you have a keyword. It's a building, so it's a place then. So which word would fit in this blank? Is it a show? No, a show is not a place, so that's a gallery. Very good. So a building or a room where you can go to look at paintings and sculptures is called a gallery. Next one. An event at which the work of one artist or a group of artists is shown. So it is an event where you can see activities done by artists or a group of artists. What is it? Okay, that's a show. Very good. And next one is again a building, but this time it's a larger building. It's a large building where objects of artistic, cultural, historical or scientific interest are kept and shown to the public. It's a larger building, so it is a museum. Very good. Excellent. Now, how do you call a collection of paintings, collection of sculptures, etc.? It's often the work of one artist or a group of artists. What is this? That's an exhibition. It comes from the verb to exhibit, to show, to display things. So an exhibition of pictures, an exhibition of paintings, or an exhibition of sculptures. Any work of art which is displayed is called an exhibition. Have you ever been to an exhibition? Okay. Let's go and continue now. Now imagine you are in London for a holiday and you want to go somewhere for entertainment, to entertain yourself. How can you get the information you need? Okay, how? How can someone get informed about where to go to entertain himself? It can be from a newspaper. Yes, why not? Some pages of newspapers are full of advertisement about entertainment and leisure activities in London. Or you can surf the net. Something new and very attractive, you can surf the net to see what is going on in London. Or you can just buy, or even get, not buy, look at that, what's that? It's a leaflet, which you can get from the streets. Yes, on the pavement there are people handing leaflets. Okay, so a leaflet is, it looks like a small book. We call it a booklet or a brochure, a leaflet. Or, today there are new things, as technology is developing. You can see this is an e-brochure. What is e? What does it stand for? Good, electronic. So this is an electronic brochure. We call it e-brochure, where you can see pictures and pages move in, and you can click at anything you want to get informed about. All right. So, the expression we use to ask about the activities in London, it is what's on in a city, what's on in London. It means what is going on, how can I entertain myself, which places can I go to, where to go, to the cinema, to the theatre, to an art gallery. So the question is usually what's on in London. And how can you get informed about what's going on in London? As we said, from a leaflet. Yes, so in a leaflet there are pages. It can be 2 or 3 pages. They are folded together. And here, let's read that page from a leaflet. What does it say? Oh yes, it's a circus called Santa's Circus. So let's read. It says, new every year, in the middle of Hyde Park, The current show features acrobatic jugglers, dancers, funny clowns, and a little bit of magic. 2 3-hour shows a day, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now for tickets, adults £10 and children under 12 £8 only. So this is one page from our leaflet. It is about Good Circus. That's it. Another picture from another page, from this same leaflet. It's about an exhibition. Let's read it. Another page too. David Hill, Oxford-based photographer, exhibits a variety of work from around the globe, taken over the last 20 years. The exhibition room at Tate Gallery, it starts on Saturday, 1st of September, and it ends on Thursday, September the 6th. Okay, and admission is free. You don't have to pay money. Another art show that you can read from that leaflet is the interactive talk. And interactive talk is when you have discussion interactively. So let's read that. It's called Every Object Tells a Story. Welcome to our Kingston Club. Enjoy a brief talk by one of our volunteers about a particular object of their choice. The talks start at 4 p.m. and it is from Saturday, 1st of September to Wednesday, 5th of September. Again, it is free entrance. You don't have to pay any money for that. Now, some comprehension check after reading these two first leaflets. Remember, one was about an exhibition and the other one was about a circus. And there is another one, it's about an interactive talk. So, as you can see the table here, try to complete it with some information from the 3 previous leaflets. So, what are you going to focus on? The events, I have given it to you. It is Santa's Circus, it's an exhibition, and interactive talk. But you have to write what the activity is exactly, the features, some details, some characteristic about these shows, and of course the place and the price. Everything is indicated on the leaflet and you just have to complete this table. Can you remember what we said about the circus? Yes? So the activity, we said it's a circus. And what details do you know about the circus? Now, any details or features you can remember about the circus? We read that there are clowns, acrobats, and a little bit of magic as well. Okay, so there are jugglers, dancers, funny clowns, and a little bit of magic. Now, where is this circus held? Yes, in Hyde Park, good, in the center of London. And what about the price, the tickets? Adults, £10, and children under 12, they pay only £8. Now, concerning the exhibition, what do you remember you have read on the leaflet? So it is a photo exhibition. By whom? Do you remember? These photos were taken by Mr. David Hill, who is a photographer. And what about these photos? Yes, they were 20-year-old photos. And where are they taken? Around the globe, all over the world. They are from all over the world. Now, the place, where is this exhibition held? Where does it take place? At the Tate Gallery, a very famous gallery in London as well, like the National Art Gallery. And what about the price? It's free, very good. We don't have to pay money for that. Now, let's come to the interactive talk now. It is an activity that people take part in the discussion, and that's why it is called interactive. You talk and you participate in a conversation. It's about every object tells a story. Where is it? And what other features do you know about this interactive talk? It's a brief talks about particular objects. And what about the place and the price? It's at Kensington Club. Remember the sentence? It says, "Welcome to our club, our Kensington Club." And the price, what do you think? Do you have to pay money for that? Or it is just free? It's free. Very good. So as you can see, this table is a recapitulation of all what came on the 3 leaflets about the circus, about the exhibition, and the interactive talk. All right, let's continue. See something else. You as teenagers, you're mostly fond of cinemas. So these are 2 leaflets that you can read. These are film reviews. One is about dolphins, and the other one is about space station. Remember the previous lesson before this one? It was about space tourism. So here you have you can see a film about space stations. So let's read about these 2 film reviews. One is about dolphins. Let's read it together. Presented on the IMAX Dome from the amazing coral reefs of the Bahamas, the viewers are taken for a dance around with dolphins. Some are spotted and others are gray-skinned. While few of us will ever have the chance to encounter a dolphin in the wild, audiences will feel like they are swimming alongside these playful creatures when they view dolphins with 3D pictures. 3D pictures. Have you ever seen 3D pictures on a movie? Fantastic. You have a very different impression from ordinary films. Another film review, which is about space tourism. This is called Space Station. It is also presented on the IMAX Dome. Let's read it. Come and experience life in zero gravity aboard the new International Space Station. Through the magic of IMAX technology, take off into space with the astronauts as they meet with their new home, orbiting 407 kilometers above Earth. Join us on the space walking adventure, an adventure of a lifetime, an experience not to be missed that is truly out of this world. Okay, now these are 2 film reviews, as you can see. One is underwater and the other one is outer in space. Dolphins and space stations with different technologies, the 3D technology and IMAX. If you want to have an idea about what IMAX cinema is, this is a picture, IMAX, and this is something else which is 3D. This is what you can see on an IMAX cinema. You see how the shark is coming out of the screen, but it is just an illusion. Don't think it is true. Look at the screen, how big it is. You know how big is a screen in an IMAX cinema? Can you imagine? More than 20 meters. So have a look and read this information about what IMAX is. So IMAX, which is a short form for image maximum, so IMAX is a film format that has the capacity to show images of a greater size and a resolution and quality, that is, than ordinary films using 3D technology. Its standard IMAX screen is about 22 meter wide and 16 meter high. Very big. Look at the picture again. You see the shark? It looks as if it was going out of the screen. All right. All right. So what is 3D technology? Do you know? Have you ever read anything about it? 3D or 3-dimensional pictures. So together we are going to read some information about 3D technology and try to complete this paragraph. Have a look. Complete this paragraph with the correct form of the bracketed words. So let's read. And you know, of course, when we deal with exercises like these things, like that, we usually have to bear in mind what comes before the brackets and what comes after it. So the words have relation together. Okay? So the term 3D describes any, and you have the word vision between brackets, but it describes presentation. Presentation is a noun, isn't it? Okay, that's a noun. And what do we need before a noun? We need to describe that noun, so we need an adjective. Very good. What is the adjective form from vision? Okay, visual. That's it. So I repeat, the term 3D is used to describe any visual presentation system that tries, again, tries here is a verb, but maintain is also a verb. And what is the rule when we have two verbs coming together? You know the rule in French, don't you? When two verbs come together, the second comes in the infinitive. In English, we have something different. So when we have two verbs together, the second can either be in the ing form, it can also be in the infinitive with to, or without to. But here, a system that tries, we need an infinitive, as I said, that tries to maintain. Now look, or to recreate. It's another verb, so to respect the parallelism of a sentence, you have already a clue for that. To recreate, to maintain, to recreate moving images of the third dimension. The illusion of is a preposition. Sorry for the circle. So it is a preposition, and normally after a preposition, what do we put? A verb or a noun? A noun. So the illusion of depth as seen by the viewer. So the technique usually involves filming two images simultaneous. Simultaneous means at the same time. And here the word simultaneous comes as an adjective. But we have a verb before that, involves filming. How do we film the two things, the two images? So the manner, how. Usually when we say how, it implies using an adverb. And an adverb usually takes an ly after the adjective. So simultaneously, we need an adverb, simultaneously, with two cameras, and these two cameras together side by side. And you have the verb to put. Do you think the cameras put themselves, or we put them together? So it is passive then. And in the passive form, we use the past participle, don't we? Yes? So, two cameras put together side by side. Notice that the verb to put is irregular, and we say put, put, put. Okay. So now you have an idea about what 3D pictures means. So I read it again for you. The 3D picture is used to describe any visual presentation system that tries to maintain or to recreate moving images of the third dimension. The illusion of depth as seen by the viewer. The technique usually involves filming two images simultaneously with two cameras put together side by side. And the key word in this paragraph is illusion. It is just an impression that you can have when you watch a film with a 3D. It looks as if the picture is coming towards you, but it's just an illusion. All right. Now, if you focus on the second leaflet dealing with films, remember the two films? The first one is about space station. Now, I would like you to read it again rapidly and answer the following question. Have a look at the question first. Oh, sorry. So, the leaflet is about an exhibition in an art gallery, or is it a film show with high technology, or a concert by a famous pop singer? As you can read, again, it's not a concert and it's not an exhibition. It is a film with high technology. And what is this high technology? IMAX and 3D pictures. Okay. It is said about this film, again, that it is an experience not to be missed. Why does the writer of the leaflet think it is an experience not to be missed? He writes and says it is an experience not to be missed. What is his reason for that? To incite, good, and to persuade, to convince, and also to advise people to see the film. Okay, and who doesn't want to see a film with the IMAX technology? Whenever you read an advert like that, you will feel inclined to go immediately and see that film. Okay, so the purpose of putting this sentence in the leaflet, an experience not to be missed, is of course to encourage the people, to incite them, to convince them to see the film. Now let's express this sentence differently. This is an experience not to be missed. It is written by a journalist, a professional writer. Now what about you, students? How can you write it in a very simple way, using your own words? You miss this experience. Good, you shouldn't miss this experience. Or again, how can you express it differently? In a simpler way, I said, you'd miss this experience. Do we say you'd better or you'd better not? It's a good experience to see, so you'd better not miss this experience. Let's continue. So what are these two sentences express? Advice, good. So you know other expressions showing advice, don't you? Let's continue. You not to miss this experience. As simple as that, a verb. I advise you not to miss this experience. Now another sentence, but look here, this time it begins with if. It's another way of giving advice. So I say here, if I were you, I will or I would. Normally, if I were you, this is the second type of conditional, say I would. I wouldn't miss this experience. Let's read it again. If I were you, I wouldn't miss this experience. Okay, now these are expressions showing advice. Let's recapitulate. What are the expressions to give advice? Giving advice. You should. You'd better, negative form, say you'd better not. I advise you. And if I were you, I would. Now, another language point came in these leaflets. Look at that one. 3-hour show, spacewalking adventure, gray-skinned dolphins. Do you remember where these expressions occurred in the leaflets? 3-hour show, it's about the circus, you remember? Spacewalking adventure, about the film Space Station. And gray-skinned dolphins, the film's about dolphins. Look at them. How are they written? 3-hour, spacewalking, and gray-skinned. Notice that these two words are separated by a hyphen. To describe the show, 3-hour show, it is a show that lasts 3 hours. Let's now look at the second expression. It says here, spacewalking adventure. It is an adventure where people can walk in space. And then gray-skinned dolphins. You remember this expression? It occurred in the leaflet about the film about dolphins. And to describe the dolphins, it says here, gray-skinned dolphins. Dolphins having gray skins. Their skins are gray. So gray-skinned dolphins. So all these are called compound adjectives. It is not a simple or ordinary adjective. It is an adjective which is composed of two words. 3-hour, spacewalking, and gray-skinned. Now let's practice some more examples. Now look here. He went on a journey of 12 days. 12 days. We use the S of the plural. But when it comes to make it into an adjective, and you know the rule, don't you, that in English an adjective never takes an S. So even if it is a compound adjective, you have to omit the S. Now, so what do we say? He went on a journey of 12 days. He went on a 12-day journey. Don't forget the hyphen. It is a must. Second example, we need workers with high skills. Workers with high skills. We are going to describe the workers. Workers is a plural word, so we don't need an article as we did in the first example. He went on it's a journey, but here workers is a plural word, so we don't need an article for that. We need workers with high skills, and we need high-skilled workers. Workers with high skills or high-skilled workers. One more example. The 3D film I saw last night at the IMAX cinema took my breath. It was a film. What kind of film? A film that took your breath. It was a breath-taking film. Very amazing. It makes you full of surprise. And when you are short of breath, when you're breathtaking, so you can't breathe, as if by surprise. Now, sometimes when we describe a person, we use compound adjectives, sometimes as idiomatic expressions, to describe a person's character. Here I have chosen for you Jessica, who is absent-minded, but she's easygoing and also good-tempered and warm-hearted, but a little bit big-headed. So these compound adjectives that sounds like idioms have their equivalent in an ordinary adjective. So when we say Jessica is absent-minded, it means that she is forgetful. But an easygoing person is a relaxed man. He never thinks of problems. He's easygoing. And a good-tempered person, someone who has good temper. So he is cheerful, very good. And what about a warm-hearted man? Warm-hearted. He is kind and generous. He is kind with people. He has a warm heart. But if you are a little big-headed, it means that you are proud of yourself. Okay? Let's continue with more examples of compound adjectives. Let's have a look here. You have the past participle made, but I'd like you this time to think of 3 possibilities that goes with the past participle made to get a compound adjective. How do you call something that you make at home? A cake, for example, that you make at home. You don't buy it from the market. It's homemade. It's a homemade cake. Again, another expression with made, handmade, something which is made by hand. A pullover, for example. You don't buy it from the shop. It is your mother who knit it for you. It is made by hand. And another example, tailor-made. Some people don't buy their suits from the shop. They have it made by a tailor. So it's a tailor-made suit.